Good afternoon once again, everybody, and thank you for joining me for a summary of news and headlines from around the globe. This is your host, Pete, and as always, I try to get some relevant headlines and share them with you and my thoughts on them. As I always ask, don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not had a chance to share. Sharing is also very nice. You can give me a thumbs down if I depress you or annoy you in some way, that's fine too. But in any case, with no further ado, let's continue. Now, I will say I may not make this premiere because I'll probably be in an airplane again, go figure. But in any case, I thought I'd share my thoughts with you before I went and got in the airports. So, our first topic of the day, special report spotlights energy matters. China adds massive amounts to oil inventories. While our strategic reserve is at the lowest point that it's been in probably 40 years and is roughly half its capacity, the countries we're trying to quote-unquote collaborate with on a cleaner environment are adding oil and petroleum products to their inventory. This is not the first time that we have made a deal with China, and we were the only ones who actually kept our part of the deal, especially when it comes to energy. They are not stupid, and if they have any intentions of going into another country, i.e. that island in the Pacific that they wish to reacquire, they're going to need oil and gas, and they're getting it from countries that we've embargoed, go figure. But in the meantime, we've reduced our oil. We're trying to make everyone drive electric cars. And now, apparently in 2027, they're going to be putting kill switches in your electric cars. Yeah, you heard that right, folks. So what if a hacker gets in there? Just saying. Anyway, moving on to other subjects. Israel confirms 13 Israeli hostages have crossed into Israeli territories. If you look at those pictures, most of them are kids. So where they're releasing Hamas people who are pretty much convicted of attempted murder, and other violence to get kids and moms back. I don't really know what to say, other than I understand why Israel is trying to wipe Hamas off the earth. This is atrocious, but I'm sure Israel is also kind of taking inventory of what they've accomplished so far. Thus far, the 13 have gone to the Israeli territory. There are more that were delivered to the Egyptians, and many of those are now in hospitals being looked after. To my knowledge, as of the date of this report, no Americans have been released. I only think there are a handful of Americans regardless. But in any case, this is a very ancient means of doing warfare. Taking of hostages to trade at some later time is not uncommon in the ancient world. So, actually very interesting tactic being used by Hamas. Moving to the other conflict, Ukrainska Pravda, which is a Ukrainian newspaper, says 500 tons of hidden humanitarian aid is found at companies in Zaporizhia, which is one of the cities on the coast near Mariupol, I think I said it wrong. In any case, much of the 500 tons of humanitarian aid had spoiled. They're citing that it was large-scale ineptitude and basically stupidity on the part of people managing the humanitarian aid. It was not given to Russian displaced, other civilians, to their own military for that matter. It just went to waste. So I wonder how many millions, if not billions of dollars of American money that is going over there is actually rotting in someone's warehouse or being sold on the black market. Who the hell knows? We're just sending money over there. Anyway, moving on. Millions of U.S. homes are at risk of losing their insurance because of one major issue. Insurance companies are getting hammered with claims from recent natural and man-made disasters. I will say myself personally, here in Texas, I used to have a Progressive home insurance, and all of a sudden it doubled in cost. I made no claims. I've made no claims in the last 10 years. They doubled, and I asked the insurance agent, my broker, what's going on. He was able to find me another company. He said Progressive is leaving Texas because the hurricane claims were kicking its ass. If you live in any area that creates tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, floods, etc., insurance companies are basically just going to raise the rates till you leave the coverage. Just dropping you is illegal because they have to answer to the state, but they can raise the rates as much as they want until you are forced to leave, and that's exactly what they're doing. It's a bunch of BS in my opinion, but it is what it is. So be aware of that. Watch your insurance rates. Again, Ukrainska Pravda, half of Russia's oil in October was transported by, quote, shadow tankers, not subject to regulation. Now, as I mentioned earlier, China is doubling their inventory of oil and gas and other, basically, fuels for the military, while we're cutting ours significantly. And they're buying it from Russia, who is shipping it out on secret tankers. This is not so secret. Anyone with half a brain who's paying attention could have figured this out. But lo and behold, here we are, with our military spread out, our country in debt, our fuel diminished, and these other guys are stocking up. And I think the arrogance of some people saying, well, you know, America can't be invaded. They don't have to invade us. They just need to starve us out. So people need to pay attention to this stuff. Speaking of the military, Associated Press reports Pentagon steps on the AI accelerator as age of lethal autonomy looms. And they go on to talk about this particular article, various automated devices ranging from maintaining aircraft to reconnaissance. But there is talk that they're going to allow lethal AI, basically, you know, a robot, a tank, a turret, whatever, a drone, that can arbitrarily decide on its own whether or not it should execute an attack on human beings. Of course, they say, well, we're going to have a handle on it. There will be human supervisors. Clearly, they have not watched The Terminator. If you watch the movies, the third movie, I believe it was, when they go to the beginning of Judgment Day, it actually starts in a military weapons manufacturing plant. So, just wondering if they were predicting a future there. Anyway, not a fan of AI doing whatever. Another one, this is another example of stupidity on the crime news. CNN, woman arrested on hate crime charges after allegedly attacking man and his toddler. She threw garbage and then a coffee at a guy who was wearing a kafia, which is the Arabic scarf. Not the one that goes over your head, the one that goes around your neck. A lot of military guys wear them. But it turns out the guy was Indian. He was not Muslim at all. He was a Sikh. He was a Buddhist. But he happened to have it because it was a gift from a friend who was from Syria. And he's like, oh, this is awesome. It's cold. You're going to see a lot more of this stupidity. As a matter of fact, the riots in Ireland, which they keep saying, oh, right-wing riots, what they don't say is that the reason the riots occurred was because an illegal immigrant from Algeria stabbed multiple people coming out of a church. And they got pissed off, and so they burned down the immigration center. But they leave that out, right? Because heaven forbid we spread that news. Bank of America flags caution as investors pour $40 billion into the stock market. Warren Buffett had one of the best advices I've seen in investing. When the market is greedy, you should be fearful. When the market is fearful is when you should be greedy. And you think about it, it makes sense. The market crashes, people get freaked out. That's a good time to buy stocks trying to catch the upswing, and vice versa. To me, this kind of notice is kind of concerning. That means people are trying to get money. They think it's going to be an upward market. Personally, I don't think so. They're all being greedy. Very greedy, and actually the indices indicate that there's lots of money going into stocks trying to speculate. I think that's a bad idea myself, but I'm not a financial advisor against this, not financial advice. But again, going to what Warren Buffett says, when the market is greedy, you should be concerned, and it's very greedy right now. Wall Street Journal reports voters see American dream slipping out of reach. Basically what this is an entire article dedicated to why people can't buy houses, why folks who already have houses are not upgrading or buying bigger or getting more property or something different. It's because it makes zero sense if you have a home and you have a 3% interest on your mortgage and you're making progress and you're paying it down. Why in God's name do I want to buy more house for a higher loan with more interest rate and a higher payment. And nothing makes sense there. Now, there's some articles saying, oh, yeah, we can, the market is surging because interest rates went from 9.1 to 7.9. That's still awful. It went down a point. Your mortgage payment would still be double if you're going from 3 to 7. It's just insane. So be advised, the market is not awesome. MoneyWise reports unconscionable. American baby boomers are now becoming homeless at a rate not seen since the Great Depression. A part of that is tied into the home prices I just mentioned. A lot of baby boomers, if they don't own their homes or were renting for whatever reason, and the prices went up or the property they were renting gets sold, the new owner increases their rental charges, and what you wind up with is people can't afford anywhere to live, so they wind up trying to find other solutions, and many wind up homeless. On top of that, homeless shelters are being occupied by the inundation of people who are not supposed to be in the country in the first place, and even older folks' home and retirement home communities are lacking staff because they can't afford to pay the increased minimum wages, and even if they could, people aren't doing that job because they can go somewhere else to make more money and deal with inflation. It's just a big mess, ladies and gentlemen. So be smart. Don't increase your debt. Several channels have already covered this. USA Today, 1.3 million chickens to be culled after bird flu detected in Ohio. There's actually other reports that it's been seen in other states. Now, this is a seasonal thing. This happens in the winter months from time to time. There are a large number of birds, 1.3 million, although it is a big number. It's not the preponderance of food or birds that are producing egg. However, it is important to note that when this happens and they report it in one state, it's probably going on in multiple states. You just haven't heard it yet. As such, expect poultry and egg prices and any byproduct of poultry may have an increase. So this is a good time if you're going to get that canned chicken or that dehydrated egg. Great time to do it. Now, I'm going to be in an airport this coming week. If you can carry everything on, it's better. Unfortunately for my trip, I cannot. You can bring drinks and small items on a plane. I would go to the TSA website and see what the changes are. But yes, you can even bring little bottles of booze. Do not forget to clear things from like knives from your EDC. I've actually had to throw away pocket knives because I left them in my backpack. Also, if you want to have an EDC when you land, put it in your checked luggage. Having a pocket knife in checked luggage, not illegal, because you don't have it in your possession. Once you carry it on with you, totally different set of rules. So just a reminder there. And again, make sure you plan out your trips, get there early, even if it means a wait. Plan contingencies in case flights are canceled or suspended. When I arrive for the business trip I'm going on, I'm going to have a rental car. In an absolute catastrophe, I'm going to fill up the damn rental car and drive home. And then I'll figure out how to pay Avis later. I'm going to also try to bring basic toiletries. Now, this is a 2-hour flight, not a big deal. But if you're going to go overseas, definitely bring change of underwear, change of socks, maybe an extra set of pants and shirt, and some basic toiletries. If nothing else, toothbrush, toothpaste, and some soap. So when you land, if they lose your main luggage, you at least have enough to change your clothes when you arrive. Just little tips when you get there. And also be familiar with the airports. Some airports like Houston, Oklahoma are huge, so you can get lost. Your motivational quote of the day: whenever something bad happens, keep calm, take a few deep breaths, and shift focus to something positive. That's from Roy T. Bennett. He has some really good quotes and books out there. I'd encourage you to check them out. But again, these are hard times. Freaking out, panicking, running up debt, doing reckless shit, not a good idea. Now's a great time to stay calm, focus on what you can fix, and maintain a positive attitude as best as possible. Sometimes being a little pissy is not a bad thing, but in any case, I thought this one would kind of give you some perspective. So, check out some of his other quotes out there. I enjoy them. I think they're interesting. Moving on. As always, I'll continue to bring this up as long as I can. there are thousands of children who are trafficked weekly. And actually, it's interesting because I came across footage on various platforms of families out for dinner and people literally trying to take children under, say, 3 or 4 years old out of strollers, out of shopping carts. The parent turns to grab pancake mix and someone walks by and tries to pull a kid out of a shopping cart. They're being brazen, and part of the problem is nobody pays consequences. They don't fear a beating. Actually, in one of the videos, the father came on after the initial video to explain that he did indeed tackle the person who just tried to pull his daughter off of a table in a restaurant of all places, and wound up punishing the individual quite severely before the police arrived. Dad was not charged. They charged the idiot. But in any case, watch your kids. Watch your kids, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot emphasize that enough. Watch each other. Okay, they will always pick people they think they can get away with. They're not going to pick the ugly guy that looks like he's going to kill them. They're going to pick someone they think they can overpower or manipulate. Don't be that person. Be a pain in the butt. Be loud. Be attentive. And, you know, what else can I say, folks? It's just weird times, and criminals don't fear consequences. Yeah, there's so many things I can say about that subject, but we'll leave that alone. As always, I'm going to do my weekly pitch. If you want to support the channel, I have a bunch of neat discount codes from ReadyWise, ETA Survival Water Filters, the 1791 Holster Company, and Roaming 5 for Wallaby goods if you need Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, and the other stuff. Now, I will tell you, ReadyWise has a special bucket at Costco's that's even better than my 10% off, but they're a limited surprise and they only show up once a quarter. So if you get those, that's an even better deal than what I can get you. But if you miss them and you want to save 10%, that works. And that picture of the holster is actually one of my favorite carry holsters. I like it because it has different slots. I can, depending on whether I'm driving, walking, or hiking, I can put it in different positions around my body, so it works out really well for me. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That concludes the summary of news and headlines from around the globe. I hope you found some of it interesting, entertaining, amusing, or nauseating, depending on your perspective on things. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. If I am not in my premiere and you have questions for me, leave them in the comments below the video after the premiere completes, and I'll be happy to try and answer you as soon as I can. And again, if you have time, take the time to organize yourself. It's a cheap, it's a free prep. Organize your food, go through your inventories, make sure you have what you need, and then when you find something you may need, budget it. Don't get in debt, not in this market. Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't give you anything else, and again, not a financial advisor, just some common sense. Now normally I do boots on the ground most mornings during the week. Between my travel and some vacation I have coming up, I'm going to be a little more erratic, but I will try to keep you guys up to date on breaking news in the mornings as I travel around. So it may show up really early, like 4 in the morning. It may come in 10 o'clock in the afternoon. Who the heck knows? But in any case, keep posted, be safe, Godspeed, and I will see you on the next video. Take care of yourselves.